This week on Create Consume Repeat, I'm giving you guys a behind the scenes tour of my live stream setup and showing you why I picked each piece of hardware and how I set it all up to maximize my productivity. So stick around. If you're part of the ATEM mini community, you may have seen this diagram floating around the internet. And while it does provide an accurate picture of the equipment I use, it doesn't explain why I selected each piece or how it's set up. So, in order to help you, my fellow creators, build out your studio, here is a closer look. Just keep in mind that I am not paid or endorsed by any company, and this is all equipment I deemed worthy of my hard-earned cash. When building out your live stream setup, it is tempting to go piece by piece, slowly adding based on your needs. But in my opinion, that is a recipe for future headaches, since certain hardware may prove incompatible down the road. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and spend a ton of money buying everything all at once. That would be, let's be honest, batshit insane. Instead, you should, 1, make a list of all the hardware you need, and don't forget to include all the cables, clamps, and rigging you need to set it all up. 2, research them to ensure they are all compatible. There is no point in purchasing a camera that doesn't output a clean feed, or a USB microphone that won't work with your fancy new digital audio interface. And 3, quite possibly the most important step, sketch out how it all lives on your desktop and measure it out. Because once you are on camera, you need to have everything at arm's distance. No reaching underneath your desk or reaching up to a shelf. Because just like gym equipment, unless it is readily accessible, you will not use it. And let's be honest, we all have that Thigh Master sitting somewhere in the corner of our house collecting dust. Damn you, Suzanne Summers. With those 3 guiding principles top of mind, I can now show you my setup. And there's no better way to start than by looking at my original rough sketch that I later refined based off of my comprehensive list of equipment that takes into account all necessary accessories. I recommend building around your main computer. And in my case, that's an Apple 27-inch iMac 5K Retina display coupled with a Samsung 32-inch 4K TV. Now I know that for some, this may seem like a very expensive combo, but in my opinion, it is actually one of the best values dollar for dollar, since you will not only get a top-of-the-line Mac, you also get one with a killer 5K display for doing color accurate work. And as far as secondary displays go, $450 for a 4K display is pretty incredible, as long as you don't want to do 120 frames per second gaming, since this TV tops out at 60 megahertz. Bonus tip, if you do plan to add a secondary display to your iMac or MacBook Pro, you will need a converter like this Uni USB-C Thunderbolt 3 compatible HDMI converter. Next, you will want to consider picking up a USB-C hub, since you will more than likely run out of ports when adding new accessories. I recommend the CalDigit TS3 Plus USB-C hub for its many inputs and solid tank-like build quality. Once all of these pieces are in place, we can focus our attention on setting up a camera. See what I did there? For my setup, I went with the Sony a6400 paired with a Sigma 16mm lens, Atmos Ninja 5 recorder, and rigged it all out with a Manfrotto double articulated 3-section arm connected to my desk via a Matthews Mafer super clamp. Normally, this is where I get a ton of questions, so let me address the most common. Why the Sony a6400? Well, I chose the a6400 for its incredible autofocus and rock-solid performance, as long as it stays stationary. Don't try using this camera as a vlogging camera, since its in-body stabilization is pure trash. Lens choice. Well, I went with the Sigma 16mm since it's not only inexpensive, it's tack sharp. Plus, the wide angle allows you to include more in the frame and gives you the freedom to move easily around without worrying about sliding out of frame. Why the Atmos recorder? Sure, The included color profiles on the Sony a6400 will give you amazing quality. But if you haven't noticed, well, I'm pretty OCD and love to control the look of my videos, and the Atmos allows me to load a custom LUT along with providing a larger display with various pro monitoring tools. But why no Elgato? Yes, the Elgato multi-mount system is a great choice, but there are better options on the market that provide more flexibility when rigging equipment. And if you've watched this channel, you know that all of the equipment I buy needs to be production ready and able to be used on a wide range of projects like indie films, live streaming, or making YouTube videos, just like this one. Lighting. What good is a camera without lighting? And here, when making your selection, it's best to keep in mind a few basic principles. 1, a large, distant light source with thick diffusion material will produce softer lighting than one that is smaller and closer to the subject. 2, when selecting a light fixture, pick something with a high CRI value, like 90+, so skin reproduction is accurate. And 3, take into account the size of the light fixture and the diffusion you plan to use relative to your actual studio size. Purchasing a massive light with a parabolic softbox, for example, may not work in your tiny little office. But hold up, you just said a large light source produces soft light. Well, I did, and that's why I went with a flat panel LED from Falcon Eyes that's 4x4. Not only does it come with diffusion, it also comes with a grid, allowing me to further control spillage. But more importantly is the fact that it's a flat LED, which allows me to rig it in many, many different ways in small spaces. Now that we have our lights, camera, and computer selected, we can turn our attention to crystal clear audio, which will require a digital audio interface like this Focusrite 2i2 2nd gen digital audio interface, a solid microphone like my Electro Voice RE20 paired with a DBX 286S microphone preamp, and don't forget to pick up XLR cables and a microphone arm. I should also mention that setting up your audio properly requires a ton of time, effort, and knowledge. Thankfully, I created a video that goes into greater detail right here. Now, when setting up your ATEM Mini Pro, pick up a 5-port switch. It will make setting up the ATEM Mini Pro on your network a breeze. 2, give the device some breathing room since it does get pretty hot under load and you don't want this thing overheating and crapping out during a live stream because that's just terrible. And 3, pick up an Elgato Stream Deck. This inexpensive piece of hardware will allow you to truly unlock the ATEM's full potential. And yes, I have a video for that too. And 4, pay attention to cable management. The ability to connect various video and audio inputs is great, but your desk will quickly and inevitably become a rat's nest of cables. This is why I advise investing in a cable raceway, Velcro cable ties, adhesive cable clips, and heavy-duty adhesive Velcro strips. These 4 unsung heroes of cable management will not only allow you to keep your desk neat and organized, it will make you the envy of all your geek friends. And since we're on the topic of desk management, I also suggest picking up a desk riser like this Grove-made desk shelf. It will create more desk space and allow you to tuck things away. And that concludes this very long, but hopefully very informative episode of Create, Consume, Repeat. And if you like what you heard or have any questions about the equipment or how to set it all up, please feel free to drop me a line in the comments section below. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions. And don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and bell button so you're notified when I drop a new episode.